Running a service business is hard. Should we consider changing it to a product? What are the differences between products and services? Are we moving towards a future with more products or more services? The following video will put into perspective these two ways of reaching to the customer.
Yeah, so in the old world, before technology became so ingrained in consumer products nowadays, the difference between a product and a service used to be a product was a tangible good that someone would buy, while service was something intangible, was an experience. Nowadays, with technology so in between everything in the world, the lines are a bit more blurred. Everything in the end of the day is a product and is sold as a product, but there are a lot of products that are wrapped in between services. There are services that are consumer-facing services that increase the value of products. There are services which are more internal that increase the ability of the company to deliver the product into their customers. So there's not so much of a difference between nowadays a service and a product in the technology world. Now, there are products which require less services. You think about for example, a gaming application. That's a type of product that doesn't require as much as a service. And then there are many other products that are more dependent on the services that they add. Products like Uniplaces, for example, that have a deep operational need to support customers, both landlords and students around the world, into taking full advantage of the product. Or even airline who are now reliant on technology products, but in the end of the day, they're a service that allows you to fly from point A to point B. So in today's world, the line between services and products is definitely more blurred. Yeah, definitely. I mean, one very obvious challenge is people. A pure product company that doesn't require services, whether services on top or to be powered by services, doesn't require as many people as a service company. As services tend to be more intangible and tend to be a bit more of the experience that you provide your customers, this experience tends to be powered up by people. So a services company or a very heavy reliant services company requires a lot more resources, both in terms of capital that allows to hire these people, as well as processes that make these people work correctly and work well, both with the product and to all the customers. So I would say that the ability to hire, the ability to design the organization and the company around these people to provide the service is a challenge that a pure product company doesn't need. It's definitely easier to scale a product. If you think a product that only requires technology, technology is inherently scalable. The way you build technology nowadays allows to reach millions of people around the world with much less resources than a company that requires a lot of people to reach millions of customers around the world. So pure products are inherently more scalable, and they tend to be a bit more attractive to investors. Now the problem is that the big problems that you need to solve around the world, they tend to be in between the digital world and the offline world. And bridging this offline world where the real problems are generally requires more of a service layer. It requires more people. It requires more support to engage with the technology. And as technology is evolving really fast, this need of having people, this need of having this at least internal service that holds the hand of customers around the world, it becomes more important. So you kind of can't be one or the other. If you're solving really hard problems, you're going to be in between. So, I mean, if you look at the type of investments that are happening around the world, for example, look at the new trend of ride sharing, whether it's Uber or even scooter sharing with the bike companies. They're products, yes, but they're services, and you need a big operational team behind that product in order to actually scale and reach millions of people around the world. And they're pulling a lot of capital, they're getting a lot of investment because they're solving real-world problems that are powered up through technology and a service at the same time. I don't think launching new businesses, you're going to think that way. I think launching a new business, you're trying to solve a problem. You're trying to solve a problem that probably you have or a problem you identify that the market has. And when you identify the problem, you don't know whether that problem can be solved via a service or via a product or maybe via a service powered by a product. You'll have to design whatever solution the market will want, and that's what's going to tell you whether it's going to be a product or a service. So I rather think about the problem itself and how are people solving that problem nowadays with which products are they solving that problem, and try to think what's an improved version of that solution. And that solution might be a service, might be a product, might be scalable, might need a lot of people. In the end of the day, I think it's problem first, solution second. If you think about a shampoo, if you think about toothpaste, if you think about something that is a physical product that you buy in your store, the time it takes to develop and to bring a new version of that product into the market, it takes years. Best case scenario, it takes months for you to rotate that version and bring a new product, an improved version of that product into consumer hands. With technology products, that doesn't happen. You can actually improve and iterate on your products on a daily basis. You can be actually shipping new versions of a feature, of a technology, of a functionality in almost real time. You might be using a product today, and if you're going to use that same product tomorrow, it might be different. And it took hours or it took a day to change and improve the way you interact with it. And that's something that fast-moving consumer goods cannot compete with. Inherently, because the development process behind these types of products are completely different. Here we're talking about code that's actually decentralized, that's in everyone's computer, in everyone's phones. So, and it's powered by the internet. So what happens here is the evolution, the iteration, and the way you deal with the development and the innovation itself of products becomes much faster and much more in real time. And the second thing is your ability to get feedback on the usage of that product. With technology companies, getting feedback and getting customer responses on how they're using, how they're interacting with, and how they're feeling about that technology is much faster, much easier, and much more in real time versus fast-moving consumer goods, which develop at a much, much slower rate.